In a world that knows no mercy, there's a hidden rule they never tell you. Weakness is an invitation to exploitation, and strength begins when you stop submitting. Have you ever felt moments where words could shatter you? That the mockery and laughter behind your back weren't just a joke, but a knife plunged deep into your soul? Were you that person who avoided looking others in the eye, fearing humiliation? Did you carry the pain of bullying in your heart, enduring it so your pain wouldn't burden anyone? If you answered yes, you know very well how a person is silently killed, how their weakness is exploited, and they're besieged until they lose themselves. In this video, I won't offer you condolences or empty promises. Instead, I'll share the story of a young man who lived this hell and, thanks to a proven psychological method, transformed into an unyielding person, imposing his presence with steadfastness and silence. A journey from darkness to strength begins with one step, a step that will change your view of yourself and the world around you. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover won't just be a story. It will be a real weapon taught in unseen places, used to turn a victim into the master of the situation. The story of Harry. From a weak boy to an unyielding force. Every day, Harry began a new battle with life. In the morning, Harry started his day early by going to school, carrying the burden of his studies and his small dreams that grew with difficulty. And when the sun set, the day's toil didn't end. Instead, the arduous night work began. He wasn't just a student, but the head of his family after his father's early passing. Between school and work, Harry lived a life full of challenges, tired but persistent, with no option but to endure. At school, Harry wasn't the bright or handsome young man who attracted attention. He was weak, quiet, out of sight, as if the walls themselves were trying to protect him from the harsh gazes of others. He faced endless ridicule daily, cruel bullying from classmates who saw him only as an easy target for beatings and insults. It wasn't just hurtful words, but disdainful looks, whispers that weighed down his heart, and blows that made his body writhe in pain. But he remained silent. Silent in the face of pain, in the face of injustice, in the face of a loneliness understood only by those who lived it. He felt as if he were trapped within walls that wouldn't let him out, as if the whole world had decided to pressure him until he broke. But he didn't give up. This was Harry's life, a life of dawn and continuous work, a life of bullying and apparent weakness. But behind this weakness, there was a heart waiting for a chance to prove it was stronger than imagined. One cold night, Harry was returning from his exhausting work, carrying a small bag with some simple food. His clothes were dirty, and his face was pale from lack of sleep and accumulated fatigue. As he passed through a narrow alley, he spotted a group of his classmates. They paused for a moment, looked at him with mocking gazes, and began whispering and laughing at him. This scene wasn't new to him, but that night it was harsher. One of them pushed him, and the bag fell from his hand, scattering breadcrumbs on the ground. Then they walked away as if nothing had happened. But what they didn't know was that an eye was watching in silence from an old balcony. An elderly man named Old Man Ben saw Harry every night and waited for him. Despite his harsh circumstances, Harry made sure to leave him a portion of his food every day. Not because he had a lot, but because he believed that kindness, even if small, could one day change life. When Old Man Ben saw what happened, he couldn't stay silent. He came down from his home, approached Harry, who was still on the ground, and extended his hand, saying calmly, "Get up, I think it's time we talked." Harry was surprised and said, "But I was just bringing you food." The old man smiled and said, "And I was waiting for you, not for the food, but for this moment." Old Man Ben took him to his old room and pulled out a wooden box filled with faded photos and old military papers. He pointed to a photo of a young man in uniform with a stern look and a confident posture. He said, "This is me. I was an officer during the war, and I learned lessons there that are not taught in any book. And every day I will teach you a little of what I learned there. Not to fight them, but to become from within a person no one can break." And from that night, the journey of transformation began. The hidden lessons. Building strength and gravitas. The next day, as they sat together in the old room. Old Man Ben said calmly, "The first thing you must understand, Harry, is that weakness doesn't mean you are weak, but that you don't know how to use your strength." Harry looked at him in surprise. The old man said, "In wars, I saw strong soldiers defeated by weaker opponents simply because they didn't know themselves well. And the first rule I taught my soldiers was, know yourself before others try to know you. Because if they succeed in that, they will put you in a mold that suits them, not one that suits you." Then he handed him a small paper on which was written, "He who does not set boundaries for others will become their boundary." Every time you stay silent about an insult or ignore mockery, you're not showing tolerance. You're teaching them to disrespect you more, and they won't stop until they see something in you that frightens them. Harry was silent for a moment and said, "But I don't know how to stop them. What do I do?" Old Man Ben smiled and said, "I won't teach you how to attack. I'll teach you how to stand firm, how to look at them with eyes that don't fear and don't apologize for their existence. We'll start with the first training tomorrow. Not on fighting, but on control. Control over your walk, your voice, your gaze, and your boundaries. For the first person people fear is the one who knows where they begin and where they end." Lesson 1. Body language is your first boundary. The next morning, as the impact of Old Man Ben's words still resonated deep in his heart, Harry silently put on his school clothes. But this time, something was different, something unseen but felt. He left his house with steps heavier than they seemed, but they were not steps of weariness or despair, but the beginning of a change. He didn't change his appearance, and he didn't respond to anyone, but he carried with him the first lesson of psychological warfare taught to him by the old man. On the battlefield, the first to fall is not the one who is struck, but the one who appears weak. Old Man Ben told him, "A bully doesn't attack you because you are weak, but because he read that in your posture, in your downward gaze, in your slumped shoulders, in your hesitation when you pass by him." And at that moment, Harry straightened his posture, raised his head, pulled his shoulders back, and walked steadily. He didn't challenge anyone, but he also didn't apologize for his presence. In the schoolyard, one of those who delighted in mocking his silence approached him. But suddenly his expression changed. He stopped. He hesitated. He felt that something was different, an invisible barrier. The person he knew had disappeared, replaced by a shadow that didn't resemble him at all. Harry didn't speak, didn't respond, didn't react, but he imposed his gravitas with a single look. A gravitas that doesn't come from a loud voice, but from deep steadiness. The idea is simple. Body language isn't just muscular movement. It's the first message humans unconsciously understand. Before anyone hears you, they see you. Before you respond, you define yourself through your walk, your gaze, and your posture. A bully doesn't choose their victim randomly. They read them before they attack. How do you apply it? Stand straight, pull your back and shoulders back. Don't look down. Keep your gaze forward steadily, without challenge. Don't rush your movements. Excessive speed conveys a feeling of nervousness. Be silent and calm, but not dull. Practice daily in front of a mirror until this posture becomes automatic. He who does not control his body language, his weakness will speak on his behalf. Lesson 2. Silent defense in the strategic strike. After Harry began to change from within and rebuilt his confidence through his new body language, it was time to face reality in a practical and decisive way. One night, as he was returning from his exhausting work, the bullies who had always mocked and humiliated him appeared before him. But Harry didn't speak. He didn't respond to them. Instead, he carried a stun gun, his silent weapon. Harry carefully observed their movements, listening to the advice of the old man who taught him that psychological warfare begins with a clear plan. Old Man Ben told him, "If you want to command respect, don't unleash your anger on everyone, but on the head of the snake. Strike the strongest one among them. When you see that there are many bullies, don't attack everyone. Instead, wait for the moment when the strongest one is alone, then strike him. When you defeat the strongest, the others will retreat in fear and respect." Indeed, Harry calmly approached the strongest one in the group without drawing attention. At the right moment, he deployed the stun gun with a powerful strike that knocked him to the ground. He looked at the other bullies with steadiness and calmness and firmly said, "This is your final warning." Harry walked away without another word, leaving an indelible mark on the minds of those who witnessed it. From that day on, they began to look at him as someone not to be underestimated, and the name Harry became synonymous with strength and caution. The idea is simple. You don't need shouting or long confrontations to command respect. Instead, you need to choose the right moment and the right target. Striking the strongest person among them makes everyone reevaluate and grants you their respect without the need for repeated battles. How do you apply it? Don't respond to provocations with words. Instead, observe the bully's movements calmly and with focus. Identify the strongest. Determine who is the leader of the group or the most threatening. Wait for your opportunity. Strike the head of the snake. If the group is large, only attack when the strongest among them is alone. Use a calculated strike. Use a defensive tool, like a stun gun, to strike the strongest one in a quick and decisive manner. Send a clear message. After the strike, show your calmness and steadiness, and don't hesitate to give a warning in a calm, strong voice. Withdraw wisely. Don't get involved in other altercations, as the goal is to command respect, not to descend to the level of continuous violence. Continue observing. Keep watching their movements to always be ready for any new provocation attempt. Striking your strongest opponent is striking all your enemies at once, and gravitas is built with these intelligent steps. Lesson 3. Building gravitas through mental steadiness. After Harry physically and mentally asserted his respect, the biggest challenge came. How to maintain his gravitas and prevent the return of bullying and threats. On a new morning, Harry returned to school, and everyone watched him with different eyes. He was no longer the weak boy who was underestimated. But the real challenge was how he behaved under pressure. Old Man Ben taught him that gravitas isn't just about strong actions, but about mental steadiness and not reacting emotionally to provocation. He told him, when you try to force others to respect you, don't give them a chance to see your weakness. Maintain your calmness, control your anger, and always be the center of control. Till one time, one of the bullies tried to provoke him in front of everyone, but Harry didn't respond with words. Instead, he looked at him calmly and stood confidently without showing any emotion. This self-control made the bully lose his footing because true strength isn't in an angry response, but in quiet steadiness. The idea is simple. Gravitas is built on mental steadiness and emotional control. The person who controls themselves controls the situation. How do you apply it practically? Practice deep breathing exercises daily to control your reactions. Train yourself to observe your emotions and try to be aware of everything you feel in the moment. When provoked, pause for a moment and don't respond immediately. Use calm and open body language that reflects your confidence. Always remember that your calmness is your strongest weapon. True gravitas begins when you control yourself before you control others. Lesson 4. Reprogramming your mind to become unyielding. After Harry learned how to assert his respect physically and mentally, it was time to work on the depths of his mind to become a person others couldn't ignore or bully. Old Man Ben told him that true strength begins from within, from your way of thinking and your beliefs about yourself. He told him, everything you believe about yourself manifests in your behavior. If you think you are weak, they will treat you as weak. But if you program your mind to believe in your strength and ability, you will start attracting everyone's respect. The idea is simple. Changing how you see yourself is the first step to changing how others see you. How do you apply it? Start repeating positive affirmations daily that boost your self-confidence. Focus on your small successes and celebrate them. Write a list of your strengths and positive qualities. Avoid negative self-talk or surrendering to negative thinking. Surround yourself with people who support and encourage you. Your mind is the factory that builds your gravitas, so choose to build it strong. Lesson 5. Clearly defining personal boundaries. In every battle with bullying, there's a weapon many don't see: But it's the strongest of all, personal boundaries. One evening, Harry sat with Old Man Ben, listening intently to the old man's voice as he began to explain the most important lesson. Learn to say no with confidence. This is what will stop them. He didn't mean no as just a word, but as a shield protecting him from every attempt to exploit or bully him. Old Man Ben told him, people cross your boundaries only when you allow them. He who doesn't know how to set his boundaries becomes an easy target. In school and at work, Harry began to learn to say no when asked to do something he couldn't bear, or asked to remain silent in the face of injustice, all with calmness and confidence. He would refuse, not with shouting, but with a clear gaze that said, my boundaries are here. The idea is simple. Clearly defining boundaries means protecting yourself from exploitation and building your inner respect, which is reflected in how others treat you. How do you apply it practically? Define your boundaries clearly. Be honest with yourself about what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. Say no with confidence. Use a calm and firm voice when refusing any request or unfair behavior. Use strong body language. Stand firmly and look into the eyes of the person in front of you without backing down. Or persist in respecting your boundaries. Don't let anyone overstep you, no matter the pressure. Don't justify or apologize too much. Your refusal of an unfair request is a legitimate right that doesn't diminish you. Saying no with confidence is the first step to building your impenetrable psychological fortress. Lesson 6. The strategy of preemptive strike. In the past, Harry used to wait until others started hurting or bullying him, only then responding. But Harry learned from Old Man Ben that it's better to be the initiator in the situation before allowing anyone to provoke or exploit him. This doesn't mean being aggressive for no reason, but always being prepared and in control of the situation. The basic idea: a preemptive strike is a way to avoid becoming a victim by taking firm and clear steps in situations that could turn into a threat. When you start controlling the situation from the beginning, you send a clear signal that you are not an easy target, and that any attempt to abuse or exploit will not go unpunished or without a reaction. How do you apply preemptive strike? Situational awareness. Don't wait for confrontation to arrive. Observe people around you and their actions. Does anyone show signs of aggression or exploitation? Are there looks or words that carry a threat? Initiate with calm words. Don't leave room for procrastination or hesitation. As soon as you sense any attempt at exploitation or provocation, clearly state, beware, I will not allow you to cross boundaries. Do not try this behavior again. Use strong body language. Stand tall and look into their eyes steadily, without hesitation or anger. Control the situation. Don't show fear and wait for the right moment to respond or defend if necessary. Choose your time and target. Don't attack everyone at once. Focus on the person trying to assert dominance over you. Showing your strength to them will make the rest reevaluate. Lesson 7. Be neither prey nor wolf. Weeks passed after the big change in Harry's personality. Those who used to mock him now avoided looking at him directly. Some began to respect him, and others watched him from afar. But no one dared to touch him anymore. However, the most dangerous challenge wasn't in fighting or self-defense, but in isolation. Harry, despite his newfound strength, began to feel a deep loneliness. He didn't trust anyone and spent his time only between work and study, without a circle of safety around him. And here Old Man Ben returned to advise him. He told him, "He who faces wolves alone will remain in the forest his whole life. Look for the pack that resembles you. Be neither a wolf nor prey." He said it, then added, "He who is bullied and remains alone will either break from within or turn into a bully himself. Both cases are a loss." These were heavy words, but true. At school, Harry noticed that one of the old bullies began to approach him differently. He no longer insulted him, but started complimenting him, laughing with him, trying to get closer as if opening a door to join their group. But Harry had learned the lesson well. He wisely refused without hostility and sought out calm, respectable people who shared his principles, even if they were few. He began spending break times with them. They talked about positive topics, they laughed, They helped each other with studies. Gradually, everything changed. Harry was no longer that isolated boy. Instead, he became surrounded by a circle of friends with whom he felt safe. And in their presence, no one dared to approach him or bully him again. The idea is simple. Remaining alone after change can make you an easy target or a cruel person. But forming a positive support network makes you psychologically stronger and less vulnerable to collapse or exploitation. Be neither prey nor succumb to becoming like those who hurt you. Build an environment that resembles and protects you. How do you apply this lesson practically? Choose your friends carefully. Look for people who respect you and share your thinking and ethics. Don't try to join the bullies, even if they try to win you over. Don't trust their shifts. Be proactive. Invite others to talk. Share your ideas. Don't wait for them to initiate. Support and seek support. Be a helper to others and allow them to be a helper to you. Don't isolate yourself. Loneliness tempts you to become cruel or a new victim. Stay vigilant. Don't let anyone outside your circle weaken you or pull you into their toxic zones. He who does not create his safe environment will inhabit a toxic environment created by others for him. Summary of the 7 lessons. From bully victim to master of the situation. Body language is your first boundary. Confidence begins with how you stand, walk, and look. If you appear weak, others will treat you that way. Strong and calm body language gives you silent gravitas and makes bullies hesitate before approaching you. Silent defense and the strategic strike. Don't confront bullies randomly. Observe them silently. Identify the strongest among them and strike him at the right moment. Taking him down will make everyone reevaluate and will grant you respect without shouting or arguing. Building gravitas through mental steadiness. Gravitas is not maintained by physical strength alone, but by psychological steadiness in the face of provocation. Controlling your emotions makes the opponent feel they've lost control and begin to withdraw voluntarily. Reprogramming your mind to become unyielding. What you believe about yourself is reflected in all your actions. If you see yourself as strong, others will treat you based on this belief. Your mind is the center of your strength, and your thoughts reshape your image in front of everyone. Clearly defining personal boundaries. Learn to say no with confidence. Don't let anyone overstep your boundaries. Your refusal of any disrespectful behavior in a calm, clear voice is what makes others think twice before exploiting you. The strategy of preemptive strike. Don't wait to be targeted. Be proactive in reading situations. If you feel someone is trying to provoke or test you, confront them directly with strong words in a confident tone to close the door on any bullying attempt before it begins. Be neither prey nor wolf. Isolation after change can break you or turn you into a bully like them. The solution is to build a network of respectful friends who resemble you. Don't isolate yourself and don't join the bullies. Choose your environment carefully and be part of a group that enhances your strength, not consumes it. Don't let anyone break you because you are too important to be buried in silence. Self-protection and facing the future. If today you suffer from bullying, from disdainful looks, or words that try to shatter you, or even silence that hurts you more than any slap, remember this well. You are not the problem, but you might be the solution. The weakness they try to attribute to you is not in you, but in them. Don't let anyone treat you as if you are less, because if they can break you now, they will completely change your future. How many people buried their ambitions because they believed someone who told them, "You are a failure"? And how many dreams died because they were ashamed to confront? And how many talents were shattered because they feared the mockery of others? But you are different now. What you've just seen isn't just motivational content to console you. It's a series built on deep psychology and real experiences that help you understand your mind and make you ready for any psychological attack or bullying. What you've learned here isn't just advice. It's a weapon, a shield, and a way of thinking that makes you walk anywhere and know that no one can overcome you. You now know how to deal with a bully, not as a victim, but as a force that terrifies anyone who dares to think of exploiting you. But don't keep this change to yourself. Share this video with everyone you know who suffers in silence. Hit like so it reaches as many people as possible. And subscribe, because what's coming isn't just an episode. What's coming from deep mind will be a storm. Be ready. And remember, he who does not protect himself will be used against himself, and he who rises now will build a life no one controls.